I just wanted to make a quick little video talking about this book that I got when I was traveling throughout India in Rishikesh, and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm a big fan of Ramana Maharshi. It's like one of the reasons I went to India. I have a few different Ramana Maharshi books, and they're all just so good. So I started looking for, there's another one right here in front of me. I started looking for other teachers similar to Ramana Maharshi, or like kind of along that line of thinking. What Ramana Maharshi teaches is non-duality, that everything in the universe is one thing, one experience. He breaks it down in such a brilliant, philosophical, easy to digest way. I always look for teachers that are like that are like can totally just break it down in a simple way that's like anyone can understand. I'm an idiot, so I need someone that can like spoon feed all these, you know, deep things to me. And then I was in a bookshop in Rishikesh and I found this book, which was next to the Ramana Maharshi books. I Am That, Talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. He's a brilliant teacher that I just kind of always overlooked. And I got this book, and I couldn't put it down. And you know, it's almost blows my mind that I haven't finished it. But this is a book that if you're interested in spirituality and you're interested in like self-discovery in like a spiritual kind of way, like, you know, when you go outside, this is what it reminds me of. This is exactly what this book reminds me of. Is like when you go outside and you're like maybe camping or just, you know, just outside normally, and it's just a beautiful night. One of those nights where like the moon and the stars just happen to catch your eye differently for some reason, you know. It just clicks, and a beautiful moment. You share a beautiful moment where it's like existential in a way, where you're like, wow, I'm a part of something super mysterious and super beautiful, and like I can't believe that I'm not always in this moment, because what the fuck is going on? We all have those moments in life, you know, and I think like little things kind of trigger it, like being outside and looking at the stars and stuff. Like those little things just, or like being in the forest or something like that, you know. These little things just trigger us to be like, wait a second, and like kind of look around. That's what this book does. This book does that to you repetitively over and over again. It just makes you think like, oh my god. It aligns you with that same feeling. I Am That, a modern spiritual classic. It literally is a modern spiritual classic. Let's read some of it together. It's broken down into categories, which makes it so easy to understand. Like, for example, who am I? Reality lies in objectivity. Appearances and the reality. The supreme, the mind, and the body. The person is not reality. Awareness and consciousness. Responses of memory. The mind, meditation. They're all broken down into topics. And it's like devotees or people that are just asking him these kind of philosophical questions, and they're his responses. So it's like really simple to read. Question and answer. Let's go to the mind. So that's chapter 7, it looks like. Chapter 7, 15. So on the first page of the mind, the questioner asks, why do you deny being to the world? And Maharaj says, I don't negate the world. I see it as appearing in consciousness, which is the totality of the known and the immensity of the unknown. What begins and ends is mere appearance. The world can be said to appear, but not to be. The appearance may last very long on some scale of time, and to be very short on another, but ultimately it comes to the same. Whatever is time-bound is momentary and has no reality. And the questioner says, yeah, but surely you see the actual world as it surrounds you. You seem to behave quite normally. And Maharaj says that's how it appears to you. What in your case occupies the entire field of consciousness is mere a speck in mine. The world lasts but for a moment. It is your memory that makes you think that the world continues. Myself, I don't live by memory. I see the world as it is, a momentary appearance in consciousness. And then the questioner says, in your consciousness? And Maharaj says, all idea of me and mine or even I am is in consciousness. Period. is then your absolute being unconsciousness? And Maharaj says that the idea of unconsciousness exists in consciousness only. That's just like one little page. Like, there's so much deep stuff in this book, and like I just picked something randomly. Like, if I would have went through and highlighted like the most intense stuff, this book literally has some mind-blowing, life-changing, revolutionary philosophies in it. And like, no matter where you come from, if you come from the West or you come from a different planet, this is pretty easy stuff to understand, and it's pretty like applicable regardless of what kind of cultural background or religious background you have. Like, this is just kind of true stuff. Let me try to find something good. Here's a pretty cool one. Are you ever glad or sad, and do you know joy and sorrow? And Maharaj said, call them as you please. To me they are all states of the mind only, and I am not the mind. Is love a state of the mind? Again, it depends what you mean by love. Desire is, of course, a state of the mind. But the realization of unity is beyond mind. To me, nothing exists by itself. All is the self. All is myself. To see myself in everybody and everybody in myself most certainly is love. The person says, when I see something pleasant, I want it. Who exactly wants it, the self or the mind? And then Maharaj says that the question is wrongly put. There is no who. There is desire, fear, anger, and the mind says, this is me, this is mine. There is no thing which could be called me or mine. Desire is a state of mind perceived and named by the mind. Without the mind perceiving and naming, where is desire? Then the guy says what I would ask too. But is there such thing as perceiving without naming? And then Maharaj says, of course. Naming cannot go beyond the mind, while perceiving is consciousness itself. And then the person says, when someone dies, what exactly happens? And then Maharaj says that nothing happens. Something becomes nothing, nothing was, and nothing remains. And then the questioner says, yeah, but surely there's a difference between the living and the dead. You speak of the living as dead and the dead as the living. And then Maharaj says, why do you fret at one man dying and care little for the millions dying every day? Entire universes are imploding and exploding every moment. Am I to cry over them too? One thing is quite clear to me. All that is, lives and moves, and has its being in consciousness, and I am in and beyond that consciousness. I am in it as the witness. I am beyond it as being. So this book is really far out, and he is a student of Ramana Maharshi. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but that's how I found this book. And yeah, I mean, that's just flipping through random pages. So like, if you start this book, it really is just, it's one of the best books on like spirituality that I've read. You guys always ask me what are like the coolest, most spiritual books, and this is definitely like on the list. So yeah, I recommend getting this book. I just wanted to make this video real quick and just talk about it because it's been sitting on over here on my like bookshelf for a few months, and it's like just one of those ones where I'm like, I have to finish this book. I don't know why I haven't yet, but yeah, so I'll put the link down below and for like Amazon or something like that. Look at the quotes on the front. The real does not die. The unreal never lived. It's like saying that your eternal self can't die. It's saying that death is an illusion, that you can't die, because all the things that you think are yourself are actually unreal. You take yourself to be what you aren't, and by doing that, you create a bunch of unnecessary suffering and unnecessary attachments, which manifest all these illusions that you confuse yourself with. So you can't die. Don't worry about it. Once you know that death happens to the body and not to you, you just watch your body falling off like a discarded garment. Okay. The real you is timeless, and beyond birth and death, the body will survive as long as it's needed. It is not important that it should live long. So don't worry about it. You're not your body. You're gonna be okay. Once you're gonna drop this thing like a discarded garment. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I will make more videos talking about books that you should read. If you would like me to, leave me a comment and let me know if that's something you're interested in. But yeah, other than that, keep on doing what you're doing, out there living life, slanging, hustling, getting it. I love y'all. Peace on earth.